Guide to the Republican National Convention, Friday at 7.
This is Eyewitness News, the news leader. With Diana Williams, Sade Bedouin-Wah, and Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Now, Eyewitness News at 5.
Demonstrators outside the courthouse as a judge decides whether to let 250,000 protesters into Central Park. Two teenagers say they were attacked by a police dog, and they are suing the city for millions. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Bookman in for Sade Bedouin-Wah.
And I'm Diana Williams. In our top story tonight, the protesting has begun, but it's about where protesters can protest. Anti-war activists are waiting for a judge to decide whether they can rally in Central Park. NJ Burkett is outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with more on this story for us. NJ?
And Diana, protesters say the city wants to trample their civil rights. The city, says demonstrators, want to trample on the Great Lawn. This case, no matter what you think of it, is in the hands tonight of a state Supreme Court justice. But the ruling, whatever it is, might not matter.
It's our park, not their park.
Organizers and their lawyers are ruling nothing out. And thousands of demonstrators could converge on Central Park on Sunday, even if the judge rules against them.
All the options are available.
In court, civil rights attorneys accused the Parks Department today of being heavy-handed.
So the city has offered one location for the rally for this event and one location only. The only place they have ever offered is the West Side Highway.
Demonstrators have already been granted permission to march past Madison Square Garden. And organizers have insisted that the only place that can accommodate their anti-war rally is Central Park. But city officials are clearly worried that the marchers would trash the Great Lawn, recently restored at a cost of $18 million.
The only real option is either go to West Street or not have a rally at all.
The legal decision is now in the hands of Justice Jacqueline Silverman, but the battle lines have already been drawn.
We will march past Madison Square Garden. The question is, where do we go once we are past Madison Square Garden? We are not going to the West Side Highway. We are not having a rally on the West Side Highway. We are not going to the West Side Highway.
The ruling is expected here tomorrow morning. No matter what the decision, an appeal by one side or the other is all but certain. And we're told tonight that the NYPD is drawing up plans to deal with thousands of rogue demonstrators. Live tonight, Lower Manhattan. NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, NJ. Authorities in New Jersey are also beefing up security as the Republicans come to New York. Their plans were announced today. Police will ride the trains into New York City, while helicopters will patrol overhead. And officials are setting up the hotline so the public can report any suspicious activity. Coming up at 5:30, Jen Maxfield will have a complete rundown of everything New Jersey is doing to keep us safe during the convention. And stay with Channel 7 for continuing coverage of the Republican National Convention. This Friday night at 7 o'clock, we hope you will join us live from Times Square for an Eyewitness News guide to the Republican National Convention. We'll look at everything from security to politics to navigating the city. That is this Friday at 7.
Senator John Kerry's campaign brought him to New York today. He ripped into President Bush, accusing him of abandoning the middle class. Dave Evans joins us live from the East Village. Dave?
Well, Sandra, as you know, between now and November, both Kerry and Bush will be concentrating on the swing states where the vote is a toss-up. That is certainly not New York. This is strong Democratic territory. So a lot of people today were wondering, why New York? Why Kerry and why today? Well, the Republican convention in about 6 days is part of the reason, but also Kerry wanted to come here for a dramatic backdrop, the history of Cooper Union Hall. Senator Kerry this morning unloaded on the Bush administration with some of his harshest language yet, accusing Bush of having no plan, no positive vision.
The Bush campaign and its allies have turned to the tactics of fear and smear because they can't talk about jobs, health care, energy independence, and rebuilding our alliances.
Kerry's speech appeared as an effort to refocus his campaign on domestic policy issues and to speak to the middle class. But Kerry also got in a few shots at the president over those swift boat ads and his service in Vietnam. Kerry today came close to calling Bush a liar.
My duty is to be a president who tells the truth instead of hiding behind front groups, saying anything and doing anything to avoid the real issues that matter like jobs, health care, and the war in Iraq.
An overwhelmingly receptive crowd praised Kerry and the focus of his speech.
I think he stuck with the issues and he spoke about what mattered, which is not these ads.
Kerry chose New York because of historic Cooper Union Hall, where Lincoln gave his most important anti-slavery speech in 1860. Lines of avid Democrats stretched outside, many proud to show just how much they hate Bush, 6 days before Republicans began their convention at the Garden. Yet later it was clear Kerry still has his work cut out for him.
He has to speak more to issues that really, really affect each and every citizen of the United States. And
Did he do that today?
Sort of.
And Senator Kerry today also visited the Statue of Liberty, and to show that he has a sense of humor, he's doing a taping with Jon Stewart at The Daily Show on Comedy Central. For now, reporting live in the East Village, Dave Evans, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Dave. The White House is announcing a pre-convention campaign swing for President Bush. It will take him through 8 key states before winding up in New York on September 2nd. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani will be among those traveling with the president. And meanwhile, Mr. Bush remains at his ranch in Texas working on his acceptance speech. Yesterday, he refused to give reporters any hint of what he might say when he addresses the convention a week from Thursday.
After spending 9 days as a hostage in Iraq, journalist Micah Guerin is set to return to New York tomorrow. And for the first time, he spoke out publicly about his ordeal in Baghdad.
I really appreciate the effort that everyone went to help secure my release, and particularly the patience and understanding of my family during this difficult time. Thank you very much.
Guerin and his translator were set free on Sunday after they were kidnapped off the streets of Nasiriyah.
Detectives in Brooklyn are poring over leads, trying to find the gunman who killed 2 men and critically wounded another last night in the Brownsville section. Police still don't have a motive for the shooting on Legion Street. 19-year-old David Smith and 29-year-old Alfonso Fearon were both dead at the scene. The third victim, who is 16, is in stable condition at Brookdale Hospital. And the medical examiner is busy at work on a case we first reported yesterday at 5, the discovery of a body on the roof of the St. Paul and St. Andrew's Church on the Upper West Side. Investigators say they still are not ruling out foul play. Police believe it's the body of a 30-year-old construction worker missing for a week. Investigators have not disclosed the man's identity.
New York City police and fire unions reportedly have agreed to enter binding arbitration with the city to help resolve their contract dispute. At the same time, both unions are enlisting the help of widows and children of police officers and firefighters killed in the line of duty. Standing on the steps of City Hall, the families, many who lost loved ones on 9/11, making a public plea to the mayor.
It's time that we give to them what they gave to all of you. Every one of us is safe because of them.
Mr. Mayor, please give them the raises they desperately deserve, ones that are commensurate with the high risks associated with their jobs.
The unions are still threatening to picket during the convention to pressure the mayor to raise wages before arbitration begins. Police officers and firefighters have been working without contracts for 2 years.
Diana, 2 teenagers say a police dog attacked them. Today, they announced a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against New York City. Lucy Yang is in East New York. Lucy?
Well, Sandra, those teenagers are suing for $10 million. They claim the horrible gashes on their leg and arm are proof not just of police brutality, but police cruelty the night they were arrested here at the Marcus Garvey houses. 2.5 weeks later, the dog bites on William Bryan's legs are still painfully raw, enough to make you cringe. Only 16, he now walks like a much older man.
I be having nightmares. I'm scared of dogs now.
And these are the wounds on 18-year-old Emmanuel Blake's left arm. The scars, a permanent reminder of the night they were allegedly attacked by police dogs.
They pulled me, threw me to the floor, stomped on my head, put the handcuffs on me, and the dog just came running after me. And they were just holding him by the leash, like, get him, get him, get him, get him.
The teens who live at the Marcus Garvey public houses were hanging out in the maintenance garage on the night of August 6th. When police arrived, they admit they tried to hide in the air shaft. When it was clear they were about to be found, the boys say they surrendered one at a time, Bryan first. But instead of an orderly arrest, they claim the officers ordered the German Shepherd to attack after the boys were in custody.
These men were not charged with resisting arrest. They were not charged with assault on an officer. And the question that we should ask that for some reason hasn't been asked is, how could this happen?
Now, the teenagers told me they did not engage in any alcohol or drugs that night, and they were not armed. They insist they were only hanging out. In fact, the only charge they are now facing is trespassing. All this for a misdemeanor. We're live in East New York tonight. Lucy Yang, Channel 7. Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Lucy. Investigators are trying to figure out what sparked an early morning fire in a high-rise apartment. More than 100 firefighters battled the blaze in the Fort George section of Manhattan at 190th Street and Broadway. Officials say it could have been much worse after they made quite a discovery inside one of the apartments in the building. We're going to have much more on that coming up in a live report on Eyewitness News at 6.
A gas leak forced dozens of people to evacuate a Newark hotel earlier today. Around noon, a contractor working near the Ramada Inn at Route 1 and 9 hit a gas main. The hotel and a nearby warehouse were evacuated as a precaution. Some people had to be treated at the scene, but there were no serious injuries. In Upper Manhattan, clean water is flowing again after repair crews worked through the night to patch up a broken water main. A 100-year-old 12-inch pipe burst at 112th Street and Broadway yesterday morning, flooding streets and even disrupting subway service.
The newest shopping center in the Bronx is now open for business. Mayor Bloomberg was at the ribbon cutting for brand new River Plaza Center in the Kingsbridge section. There it goes. It's the first mall to open up in the borough in about a decade. It has a Target, Marshall's, and other stores. The center, located on 225th Street, is expected to create about 1,000 jobs. A lot of jobs.
Still ahead, a new alcohol machine causing another ruckus tonight.
Also, was Amber Frey obsessed with Scott Peterson? The tough cross-examination is next on Eyewitness News.
And there's a health alert for women. One part of your diet could increase your risk for diabetes by 80%.
School bells are about to ring, but experts say the road to learning begins at home. I'm Art McFarland. We'll give you a few tips on how to find that road.
Our first ever Celebrity Spouse Challenge. A soprano star goes head-to-head with her husband.
How are you doing over there, honey?
It's a walk in the park.
An ET reporter makes her hubby work the red carpet. Mom's gone. Will this NFL dad fumble or score? Clint Black goes where he's never gone before.
What kind of chips do we get?
Yellow.
Famous couples face off. Tomorrow's Oprah. An all-new Oprah tomorrow at 4.
We were 1,000 miles off course. They're looking for us in the wrong place.
Guys, where are we?
Lost premieres Wednesday, September 22nd, only on ABC.
I've done a million talk shows, so I've always thought about being on the other side. So I'm starting a new show in the fall. I enjoy people. I enjoy talking to people.
What would you like to see?
Yes, that I recognize you.
The Tony Danza Show premieres Monday, September 13th, here on ABC 7.
Tomorrow on Eyewitness News this morning, it's an archaeological wonder, but now the Archdiocese is tearing down a Catholic church that's been part of Harlem for decades.
That story plus a whole lot more. Watch Eyewitness News this morning, tomorrow morning, beginning at 5 a.m.
The other woman in the Scott Peterson trial facing tough questions under cross-examination. Defense lawyers are trying to paint Amber Frey as a calculating seductress who was obsessed with Peterson. Carla Wolb is in Los Angeles with today's testimony. Carla?
Sandra, defense attorney Mark Garagos questioned Amber Frey for a day and a half. There were no bombshells, but Garagos reserved the right to recall her as a defense witness. For a second day, Amber Frey held up under cross-examination by defense attorney Mark Garagos, who tried to poke holes in the prosecution's theory that her affair with Scott Peterson was serious enough to be his motive for murdering his pregnant wife. He never told you that he loved you, right? Garagos said. Not in those words, Frey replied.
I think Garagos has succeeded so far in showing that this affair was more of a fling than it was a sufficient motive for murder.
To that end, Garagos played more of the taped phone calls between Frey and Peterson. On one, Frey, who was working with police, tries to get Peterson to admit that Lacey was missing because of their relationship. Amber, she's missing, Scott replies, because someone abducted her. Garagos also played the last call between the lovers on February 19th in an attempt to show the end of the relationship was no big deal.
I think it'd be best if you and I didn't talk anymore until there's resolution in this whole.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Good.
You're right.
Good.
Scott Peterson's family left court after Amber's testimony, saying it didn't prove anything other than the fact that Scott was having an affair.
There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there.
Now, court watchers say while Garagos may have scored some small points, it doesn't change the fact that on the tapes, jurors heard Scott Peterson laughing and joking with his lover while his pregnant wife was missing. Reporting live in Los Angeles, I'm Carla Wohl, ABC News. Back to you, Diana.
Thank you, Carla. Lawmakers in Suffolk County are going to debate a bill tonight calling for the ban of so-called alcohol machines. The machine called Alcohol Without Liquid, or AWOL, made its debut in New York City last week. You may recall we told you about it. The user inhales an alcohol mist and gets a buzz without the hangover, the calories, or the carbs. The Suffolk County bill would ban the sale or use of the AWOL machine in Suffolk County. A bill has been introduced to the New York Senate calling for a ban statewide. Well, sobering news on the roadways. Let's go to John Del Giorno. He's live in Newscopter 7, and he is above the Verrazano Bridge. John.
Diana, we have got a heads up for Brooklyn commuters. If you're headed on over to Staten Island, these are first live pictures from Newscopter 7, and that is what you're seeing. Bumper-to-bumper traffic now across the bridge on the upper level and into Staten Island. You can see here a 3-car accident just before you get down into the toll plaza. This accident only happened about 10 minutes ago, and fire and police units just arrived here on the scene. The bad news is that there is a fuel spill involved, so I think you're going to see this accident out here for quite some time. Take a quick look here, though, at the bridge. If you notice down below, the lower level into Staten Island is moving just fine, but on the upper bumper-to-bumper volume back across the bridge begins on the Gowanus, back onto the Belt Parkway as well. It could take you 30 to 45 minutes just to get across that upper level. And we're live over the Verrazano Bridge. John Del Giorno, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, John. Controversy over the way one mom disciplines her child.
And you're going to recognize this mom. We've got that story coming up. Also, exhibits stolen from a local museum. Now detectives believe they've cracked the case.
And there really should be some kind of award. A new mom shares her story. Next on Eyewitness News.
And I'm Liz Cho. Coming up at 6, exclusive details on who will not be allowed anywhere near the Republican convention. We also look at some novel ways the NYPD plans on keeping track of all of the protesters. Those stories at 6, and Eyewitness News at 5 is coming right back.
This is Eyewitness News, proud to support the Protect Our Children campaign. Have you seen Morgan? ABC 7 and your local tri-state Ford stores urge you to protect our children. A New Jersey police stunner. Next at 6.
A police corruption investigation. Eyewitness News has the latest details.
Plus, Eyewitness News unveils a list of convention perks you can enjoy even if you're not Republican. Join Bill Ritter and Liz Cho next at 6.
In Minneapolis, Alyssa Kuseski just gave birth to a set of identical twins. Now, that wouldn't be big news, except for the fact that this is the second set of identical twins that she's given birth to within the past year. Doctors say such an occurrence is extremely rare. The first set of twins was conceived using fertility drugs. The second set was conceived naturally.
She will never sleep again in life.
No, she's got her hands full.
Not for the next 6 years or something anyway. Yeah.
My mom says she never slept after that. All right.
And my mom will say she never got a good night's sleep after that. Because even when I was old enough to know better, she was never quite sure that I was where I was supposed to be.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's part of the mother. You're a mother, so you know that's part of it. That's in the paperwork.
Thank goodness he's not my son.
All right, Sam. It did exactly what you said it did. Although Diana has been
trying because it was cloudy at moments today. Miss Williams has been trying to find somebody who will tell her that there was a sprinkle or a shower.
You know, I'm just going for accuracy, Sam.
No, you're
just
going for the jugular. Didn't happen. Walk over to the wall. We'll show you exactly what it looks like outside our doors. Newscopter 7 is over the Verrazano with these dry skies. And And things look pretty good over the next couple of days as well. Yeah, no doubt about it. As the front moved through here, there were some clouds that just didn't want to break up and get out of the way. So a lot of communities had to put up with some cloudiness during the middle part of the day today. Hopefully that'll open up, and over the next couple of days, we've got some better looking skies. We're 71 degrees in Albany right now, 73 in Syracuse. Check out the cooler air, and then look at the warm setup down south. 86 in Washington, D.C., as the heat and humidity in the dividing line is right across where the front is right now, and it's in central New Jersey. The difference being 75 at LaGuardia and 84 in Philadelphia. So big difference in where that front settled today and how the temperatures played out. Front should actually kind of push back in our direction. We'll stay on the clean, cool side of it for at least another 24 hours, I think. 74 degrees outside right now. East winds at about 7 miles per hour. 79 degrees, the warmest number on the day. Not quite to the 80-degree mark even. 71 degrees where we started, and so there's not a big spread out there. Clouds kind of sealed us from getting to the normal temperature of about 81 degrees in a lot of locations. Record high at 94 degrees set back in 1972. 56, 61 degrees for overnight low temperatures tonight, looking at 61 to 62 in northern New Jersey. Your island numbers run a big range, anywhere from 62 to the east end to 66 by the time you get to Nassau and the 5 boroughs. Now, skies should appear fairly clear tonight. I would still say, as those clouds try to get out of the way, there may be 1 or 2 partly cloudy zones, but there's going to be a lot of places that come in with clear skies over tonight. 79, 78 degrees in northern areas for high temperatures tomorrow. The big long line of thunderstorms and thunder showers, if you're flying west today, that still is the area of trouble. Chicago to St. Louis to Lexington, Kentucky, but this dry wedge of air all the way on the eastern seaboard has delivered some of the nicest temperatures on the board today and some of the nicest skies all the way through New England. There's the front. It drifts a bit down to the south tomorrow, so we should be in good position to get 78 degrees. Your UV forecast for tomorrow is a 6, which means we're expecting a lot of sunshine between 1 or 2 clouds. Mostly clear inland clouds, I think, overnight tonight. Some areas will stay, particularly in central New Jersey, a little cloudy for a while, but mostly sunny tomorrow and a cool breeze, mostly clear and comfortable, 64 degrees. And we are still on the pace of trying to get an entire week without rain here. I think by the time we come back with a 5-day, we are going to have to put some splash and dash afternoon thunderstorms in Saturday and Sunday, but that would still give us the run of the workday week, Ms. Williams.
I know. Sam, I can say it. You're right so far.
All right, good. That's all we can ask for.
Thank you, Sam. Olympic gold medalist Paul Hahn now talking about the judging controversy.
We've got that story coming up. Also, important lessons for parents. Experts say they will help your children do better in school.
Adding plus to your children's wardrobe when it comes to sizes, it's a whole new world. I'm Kimberly Richardson. Let's go shopping. That story straight ahead.
Success at school starts at home, and there are simple ways that you can help your child do well.
So today, Eyewitness News went to the experts. Art McFarland has the story.
Well, when you went to 4th grade.
For Ada Vargas, doing schoolwork at home with her sons is a top priority.
We can't leave everything up to the teachers and the school system. It doesn't work.
Her sons agree the family homework gets results.
When she helps me, I learn more.
It always makes it easier having someone from your family, especially someone you care about so much, and that helps you out all the time. You always know is there.
Today, a panel of education experts confirmed the fact that the road to learning begins at home, and they point out one of the most important things parents can do is simply read to their children.
The academic results from that. Children read earlier, they read better. They drop out of school less often. It goes that far. That reading at home just makes such powerful differences across the spectrum in education.
There was a promotional panel discussion arranged by Leapfrog Enterprises, the people who make interactive learning tools. The educators say you should turn your living room into a learning room. Encourage your children to talk about their feelings, accomplishments, and problems in school and elsewhere. Set aside a certain time each day to do homework, to review, and to prepare for class the next day. And set limits, including a specific bedtime and the amount of TV watching permitted. And in New York City, there is Dial a Teacher, free homework help by phone, sponsored by the Teachers Union.
Knowing that there is someone who can help them encourages them to do the homework as opposed to putting it on the side and making excuses as to why they won't do it.
As for parents who feel they are too busy for all this,
you make the time, and it's only you give up an hour a week. It's not a time card that you punch.
In Park Slope, Brooklyn, Art McFarland, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Coming up, the hot sauce controversy. Should you use it to punish your child?
New Jersey gets ready for the Republican National Convention. I'm Jen Maxfield, live in Newark. Coming up, some unusual security measures designed to keep commuters safe.
And could a major airline be grounded for good? I'm Andrew Schmertz at the Amex. The business news is coming up.
If you have a story for the Eyewitness News investigators,
call 1-877-TIP-NEWS. That's 1-877-847-6396.
It's 5:29. Eyewitness News is back with your top stories. Anti-war activists are waiting for a judge's decision about a planned rally in Central Park. A judge will decide tomorrow if the expected crowd of 250,000 can gather on the Great Lawn on Sunday.
Democratic presidential candidate John Kerry in New York City today, blasting President Bush for conducting a campaign of fear and smear. The senator is working on refocusing the campaign onto domestic and foreign policy issues.
Two teenagers are suing New York City for $10 million. The two claim New York City police officers ordered their dogs to attack them. The victims were arrested on August 6th and charged with misdemeanor trespassing.
And topping our news this half hour, the show of force to protect commuters during the Republican convention crosses the Hudson.
That's right. The Garden State is going into high gear and ramping up security. Today, the evidence was clear with additional police out in force. The message for New Jersey residents, be alert but not alarmed. Jen Maxfield joins us from Newark Penn Station with the security strategy. Jen?
That's right, Sandra. During the convention, every train leaving New Jersey bound for Penn Station in Manhattan is going to be inspected by uniformed police officers and bomb-sniffing dogs. The advice for commuters, pack light, expect delays, and keep an eye out for anything suspicious. New Jersey transit trains are sealed up and ready to roll for the Republican convention. To avoid the risk of bombs on board, trash cans are welded shut. And next week, most bathrooms will be too. Outside Newark Penn Station, uniformed officers inspect every truck. Even our Eyewitness News van was screened for explosives.
We have increased our police force by more than 70% to more than 200 police officers, and we've doubled the size of our K-9 explosive detection unit.
New Jersey's law enforcement officials say routine inspections aren't enough.
We ask and encourage the public. We need your support in this effort. And not only during the Republican National Convention, but we need it all the time.
New Jersey's Attorney General this afternoon unveiled a new ad campaign aimed at encouraging commuters to report anything suspicious. At the Hoboken Path Terminal, television screens broadcast images of wanted terrorists. In Newark Penn Station, signs direct commuters to toll-free numbers to call.
What we want to do today is let people know how to take action. How often does someone say, man, I should call somebody? I see something that doesn't seem right, but who do I call?
A sore point in all of New Jersey's transportation preparedness is what Peter Harvey calls a severe lack of security funding.
The sad truth is that New Jersey didn't get a dime for the Republican National Convention. New York got at least $50 million and maybe more, which is an outrage, because the last time I checked, the bridges are on both sides of the river.
New Jersey's Attorney General says that hundreds of officers have been redeployed to avoid some of the hefty overtime costs. But we want to get this toll-free number out there that's been provided for commuters to call about anything suspicious. It's pretty easy to remember. It's 1-866-4-SAFE-NJ. It's a 24-hour hotline. And again, they're asking commuters to call it if they see anything that looks not right. That's the latest live from Newark Penn Station. I'm Jen Maxfield, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Jen. New Jersey Governor James McGreevey has met with the FBI. Since McGreevey's stunning announcement, aides close to the governor continue to claim that his former lover, Golan Sipel, tried to extort money from him. According to published reports, McGreevey was interviewed for 2 hours at the governor's mansion this past Friday. The U.S. attorney would not say whether his office is looking into official misconduct charges against McGreevey based on Sipel's hiring as Homeland Security advisor.
A man has admitted that he is behind a staggering heist on Long Island, stealing 2,000 items from the Nassau County Museum. Items stolen included antiques, historical memorabilia, and a model of a Wright brothers airplane. 57-year-old Richard Kapler cut a plea deal with prosecutors. The goods are said to be worth about $400,000. The district attorney's office says because of the size of some of the furniture, Kapler wasn't working alone.
He had help. Yeah. There was no two ways about it. I couldn't lift that with another attorney.
All right? It's just very heavy. Likely it's a 3-person operation to move that. There's no doubt about it. He had help.
The authorities admit many of the items are still missing. Kapler will be sentenced in November. He is facing up to 4.5 years behind bars.
Rescue teams still scouring the Utah mountains in search of a missing Boy Scout, but many tonight fear that he is dead. 12-year-old Garrett Bardsley disappeared in the mountains last Friday. He was last seen by his father, who sent Garrett back to camp to change his wet shoes. Freezing cold temperatures put Bardsley at great risk of suffering from hypothermia. Just last month, another Boy Scout disappeared in that same wooded area. He was found 2 days later. Olympic gold gymnast Paul Hamm is heading home today with his medal, but the controversy over how he got it is not over, and Hamm is talking about it. Marvell Scott joins us now with more on what Hamm had to say. Marvell?
Well, Diana, up to this point, Paul Hamm had rather been quiet about the controversy marring this year's Olympics. But today, he revealed his true feelings about the dilemma that judges and the International Gymnastics Federation have left him to deal with all by himself.
Last night's men's high bar event summed up the ugly side of this year's Olympics. Russian gymnast Alexei Nemov completed his routine, and this was the reaction to the score he received.
This is amazing.
The crowd bellowed for 10 minutes, during which all-around champion Paul Hamm had to delay his routine.
It definitely was difficult for me to handle that situation.
Hamm regrouped and nailed his routine, which led to silver, while the Russians today filed a protest regarding a scoring error. That adds to the list of complaints about bad judging filed by other countries such as Greece and Canada, whose coach says it's gotten out of control.
There's always a few situations here and there. I mean, it's a judging sport, and there's human error involved sometimes, but never to this level.
The largest controversy stems from Paul Hamm's gold medal, in which South Korea's Yang Tae-young felt he was cheated out of because of a judge's mistake that left him with the bronze. The International Gymnastics Federation suspended 3 judges as a result, but refuses to change the ruling, and even suggested that Hamm voluntarily choose to share his gold medal.
I don't feel as if another gold medal should be awarded or I should give up the gold medal, especially when that has not been decided by the FIG.
South Korea plans to appeal the decision. As for Hamm, in no way in his mind does this taint his Olympic experience.
After all this pressure, after all the controversy, after the booing on high bar, I was able to get up and tie for the gold medal and was awarded the silver. And that was just such a great way to finish the Olympic Games and to prove to everyone that I really am the best gymnast in the world.
Now, there was some speculation that the Gymnastics Federation may elect to award Yang Tae-young a second gold medal, but considering the long list of other complaints they have to deal with, chances are the current rulings will remain etched in stone. Sandra?
Quite a controversy. Coming up, she used to know the facts of life.
But now former star's claims about what she uses to punish her children is stirring up a hot debate.
Finding the right size clothing for your child. Manufacturers respond to your concerns. I'm Kimberly Richardson. I'll explain straight ahead.
Friday, Eyewitness News gets you ready for the Republican convention. From traffic, transit, and security to protests and politics. Join Bill Ritter and Liz Cho live for the Eyewitness News Guide to the Republican National Convention, Friday at 7 on ABC 7. Closed captioning provided by your Lexus dealers.
Hello, New York. I'm coming home for my new daytime talk show. Don't miss the Tony Danza Show live in New York starting September 13th right here on ABC 7.
Watch Wheel of Fortune tonight at 7:30 on ABC 7. A New Jersey police stunner next at 6.
A police corruption investigation. Eyewitness News has the latest details.
Plus, Eyewitness News unveils a list of convention perks you can enjoy even if you're not Republican. Join Bill Ritter and Liz Cho next at 6.
There's an interesting controversy tonight about disciplining your child. A former child star says she uses hot sauce on the tongue. Lisa Welchel, who played Blair on The Facts of Life, is the author of a new book that suggests the hot sauce, along with hundreds of ways to discipline a child, can work. The book is called Creative Correction. But what about that hot sauce? She debated the practice on Good Morning America today with a family therapist who compared it to chemical warfare.
I just happen to believe that I would rather my child
receive a small amount of pain from my hand of love than to encounter a lot more pain in life, not learning boundaries and consequences.
A lot of parents creatively punish their children in ways that child protective agencies disagree with.
Welchel says she used hot sauce on her kids' tongues for offenses of the mouth, and she calls it a temporary sting that can be very effective in curbing bad behavior.
A major airline struggles to pull itself out of the brink of bankruptcy. Andrew Schmertz is live at the Amex with details. Andrew?
Sandra, there's very little corporate or economic news, so right now it's all coming down to oil. Prices dipped below $46 a barrel today. That helped the markets early on, but late in the day they gave up most of the gains. Let's take a look at the final numbers. The Dow finished the day up 25.58 to 10,098.63. The NASDAQ dropped $1.81 to 1836.89. And U.S. Airways could be on the brink of collapse. Talks with its pilots union has collapsed, and the airline is warning that it's running out of cash. Some analysts say if U.S. Airways heads back into bankruptcy, it would be the second time it's in bankruptcy. It could cease to exist altogether. Live at the American Stock Exchange, Andrew Schmertz, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Now it's time for a check on some of the stories that we are working on for Eyewitness News at 6. With more on that, Bill Ritter is in the newsroom. Bill?
Sandra, coming up at 6 o'clock, a corruption investigation into one of the largest police departments in our area, and this one includes drugs, guns, and prostitutes. Also at 6, as police train for the Republican convention for security, we have new details on controversial NYPD plans to literally put police marks on protesters before they're actually arrested. And in tonight's Extra, if you're not planning to leave New York City during the convention, we have got a deal for you. In fact, lots of bargains and deals and perks for those New Yorkers who decide to stay in town. And a fire trap uncovered only after flames force residents out of their apartment. We have those stories and much more coming up when I get together with Liz Cho for Eyewitness News at 6, and I hope you join us. And now back to Sandra and Diana in the studio.
Thank you, Bill. On today's Eyewitness Newsreel, a look at building blocks, high-tech farming, and the wild side. Let's roll it. A great sign for the Bronx today with the opening of Taino Plaza in the Morsania section. The new development includes more than 100 affordable housing units, plus lots of commercial space. Succeeding at nature photography is all a matter of timing, and that's the title of John DeCarlo's exhibit of Nature in Full Bloom at the Nutley Library. DeCarlo has been perfecting the art of timing his shots since 1975. Some hot tomatoes in the South Bronx this summer at the Police Athletic League's hydroponic farming program for inner-city kids. When the children return to school, they'll have tales to tell of learning to grow the most delectable tomatoes in New York right on their own rooftops. It's a great day for a hike, and these children at Teatown Lake in Ossining are learning what they can do to conserve nature's precious gifts. They're also learning how to cultivate the foliage that makes this area so beautiful. And that's our Walk on the Wild Side for today's edition of the Eyewitness Newsreel.
You walk on the wild side well. There's a new trend in designing clothes for children.
Next on Eyewitness News, fashions that kids of all shapes and sizes can enjoy.
Some kids really do have all the answers, and they're on Jeopardy all this week. Don't miss Kids Week from Washington, D.C.
Tonight at 7 on ABC 7.
Hard to believe, but it is that time of year again when kids are looking for the hot new back-to-school fashions.
And this year, designers are making sure that every child can fit and look good in their clothes, including children who need larger sizes. Kimberly Richardson joins us now. She's got more. Kimberly?
Well, whether it's food or sport utility vehicles, right now retailers are supersizing just about everything. The latest trend focuses on kids' clothing. But are we feeding an unhealthy obsession with food or simply catering to a growing market? Take a look.
Any mom will tell you their kid wants to fit in no matter what size they are.
Especially when it comes to what they wear, a growing number of retailers is now making plus-size clothing for kids. At Old Navy, girls who need a little more room in their waist, hips, and thighs can comfortably fit into pants. The store has added half sizes and adjustable waistbands. The Husky line for boys is also more generously cut. At Sears, you will see full-figured models. Girls' clothing is wider across the bust, armholes are bigger, t-shirts a little longer. And look at these jeans. The pair on top is a traditional size 10. The bottom, the new size 10.5.
They've kept the length the same, made the waist 3.5 inches wider on most pants. They have the legs are a little bit wider, but not too much wider.
Experts say what was once a largely ignored portion of the clothing industry is quickly expanding.
They are recognizing that their customer base has changed, and their job is to sell clothing. They have to satisfy their customers, and that's exactly what they're doing.
But some argue this trend should set off alarms that what we're really seeing is an unhealthy pattern. One study found the number of obese children ages 12 to 19 more than doubled in the past 30 years.
I think that you still need to try and get across the message of, good nutrition and exercise and sort of have a healthier lifestyle.
Some argue that's the job of parents and physicians, but others point out plus-size clothing could be a start to tackling the complicated issue of childhood obesity. At such a young age, having options can be priceless.
So give them something that makes them feel good, that they, feel like they look cute going to school in, and then maybe that'll start them on the whole bettering themselves.
Now, along those same lines, one thing stores are doing to make sure plus-size kids do not feel isolated while shopping is making sure the larger clothing is mixed in with the traditional sizes or putting the sections right next to the regular clothing. So that way they don't have to go to a different section and feel isolated.
Right.
So,
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay, sure.
When I was a kid, it was the husky sizes we were looking for young Mr. Champion.
Sam, you were never husky.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's nice to
yeah,
know
so
you're
all
a
that's
regular
nice to
guy.
No, that's why I find it so much now.
It looks so fabulous.
But that was a good story.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's deal with a little bit of outside stuff.
Okay.
Nice looking sky so far, dry so far. Maybe we pointed that out earlier in the show. Walk over the wall, we'll show you exactly what it looks like outside our skies, outside our doors. We've got great looking skies over toward the east side. That is the Super Studios camera. We had a lot of discussion over the past couple of weeks about fall allergy season, and a lot of folks are wondering, hey, what is the pollen count like? And we concentrate on it so much in spring, but we do need to tell you that now pollen count is on the high side, and it's the weeds, ragweed in particular, that's up this time of year. And it usually is late August on into September. So if that is your trigger, if you're an allergy sufferer that has a problem with weeds and ragweeds, then the numbers are high and expected to be so the rest of this week. So if you were feeling a little teary-eyed or a little sniffly and you were wondering, there's your answer. It is, in fact, that those numbers are way up there. 59, 56 degrees in northern areas, 62, 66 right through the middle of the region. Southern numbers coming in that 64 to 66 degree range under clear skies overnight tonight. I can't say the entire area is going to get away with that, though. There will be some pockets of clouds. By the way, we have some breaking news. We'll get back to weather later, but let's go to the news desk.
Thank you, Sam. Breaking news, a tanker fire fully engulfed on Route 78 and 278 in Bedminster, New Jersey. John Del Giorno above it all in Newscopter 7. John?
Sandra, we're getting very early information on this. First, we'll tell you exactly where we are. These first live pictures here from Newscopter 7. We're in Bedminster, New Jersey, along Interstate 78, just east of Interstate 287. What you're looking at here is a tanker truck that apparently spun out of control and then caught fire. You can see the tanker itself was on fire. Also, a portion of the woods off to the right of your screen, that was on fire as well. Now, we're not quite sure exactly what was in this tanker, but we're going to go down. And again, the first time you're seeing this at home is the first time we're seeing it as well. There are two other vehicles involved in this accident. One of those appears to have caught fire as well. This accident only happened about 15 minutes ago. Again, on the eastbound side of Interstate 78 in Bedminster, New Jersey, just east of Interstate 287. If you travel this area, this is that section of 78 that runs up a large hill just adjacent to a very large townhouse community. Now, we want to tell you one other thing as you look down on the highway. Interstate 78 is currently shut down completely in both directions. This will cause major traffic delays. No word on injuries yet. Once we find out some more info on injuries, also on exactly what is inside that tanker, we will be sure to be back with you with an update. We are live over Bedminster, New Jersey. John Del Giorno, Channel 7. Eyewitness News.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Looks like a mess out there. We've got Sam back at the desk, though, to talk about the 5-day.
Yeah, we just wanted to give you your 5-day. We obviously will break for breaking news whenever we have it, but here's your 5-day forecast so you don't lose anything. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, your forecast day. Some nice weather. 78 still on the cool side tomorrow. 80 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The return to humidity. Start thinking about afternoon thunderstorms for the weekend, but not big stormy weekend. Just a few splash and dash pop-up. Nice weekend.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. 7's on call when we come back.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow morning on Live.
Jessica Simpson, Charlie Sheen, and Live Singing Showdown next Regis and Kelly.
Watch Live. Tomorrow morning at 9.
A New Jersey police stunner. Next at 6.
A police corruption investigation. Eyewitness News has the latest details.
Plus, Eyewitness News unveils a list of convention perks you can enjoy even if you're not Republican. Join Bill Ritter and Liz Cho next at 6.
Medical news tonight. We're talking about sodas. It is big business.
But a new report shows that the amount of sugar in those fizzy drinks could cause a bigger problem than you might think. 7's on call with Dr. Jay Adlersberg.
Diana, Sandra, it's something we don't often think about, but more sodas, more calories, that could mean more health problems. A new report in the Journal of the American Medical Association links our intake of sodas with diabetes.
Sugar-sweetened soft drinks are a big part of the calories we consume. In fact, and it's an amazing fact, in the American diet, we get more calories coming in from sugar-sweetened soft drinks than from any other food source. Not only are these soda drinkers getting more calories, which could mean more weight, they're also taking in more sugar, which means fewer good nutrients. But no one sees sodas as health-threatening. Many see them as simply good drinks.
Especially in the summer when it's hot out. It tastes good.
I drink far too much of it, too.
Drinking too many sugar-sweetened sodas, according to the new study, could mean a health risk down the line.
Women who were drinking sugared soft drinks every day or more than once a day had an 80% increase in risk of diabetes compared to women who hardly ever drank sugared sodas.
It's not the sodas that are causing the diabetes, but it could be the weight gain they cause, which in turn makes people more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. As an editorial in the journal points out, quote, coincidentally or not, the rise of obesity and type 2 diabetes in the United States parallels the increase in sugar-sweetened soft drink consumption. Lots of soda drinking, that is. Empty extra calories and weight gain can encourage diabetes to develop.
The sugared soft drinks are very rapidly absorbed and they cause a sharp upswing in blood sugar, which causes a sharp increase in insulin production, and then this causes the blood sugar to go down.
And that's what diabetes is, uncontrolled blood sugar, which over time damages your heart, your kidneys, your eyes. A 12-ounce soda has 10 teaspoons of sugar. The report estimates that one soda a day for a year could mean adding on an additional 15 pounds. For more, see our website, 7online.com. Sandra, Diana.
Thank you, Jay. And that'll do it for this 5 o'clock edition. Thanks for watching. I'm Diana Williams.
And I'm Sandra Bookman. Eyewitness News at 6 starts right now.
This is Eyewitness News, the news leader, with Bill Ritter and Liz Cho. Scott Clark with sports, and Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Now, Eyewitness News at 6.